Guess who's back? Elimination Chamber is over. Gotta talk about the Elimination Chamber from Perth, Australia. I'm not there. I'm just saying that that's where it happened at. And it was super early Saturday morning. I woke up, not unplanned because I had to work my regular deal, and I was out of it. And I said, you know what? I'll just watch it later and just enjoy it. So, hello everybody. Not So Creative Podcast. This is E. And again, I always say this: Apple, Amazon, YouTube, Google, Spotify, and wherever else you can find me. Appreciate everybody who listens, who puts in time to it. I put a little work into it. And I try my best with the amount of time I have to do this. So greatly appreciate everyone who listens. And I'm grateful. And let's just get moving with this Elimination Chamber. I'll give my opinions, and it's going to be a very quick show. I'm going to try. I'm going to say that much. I'm going to try and make it as quick and as simple as possible. And then I'll give my honest opinion about the PLE, Premium Live Event, speaking the language of TKO, who is the WWE and the UFC, combined together into one happy family now. All right. This is going to be probably out of order. And I'll start. There was the pre-match and there was like a pre-hype. And they had the Kabuki Warriors, speaking of the women's tag team champions, versus Australia's own Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. Cool moment, I will say, because WWE did push their local athletes for the country of Australia, which is something that the UFC has done for their fighters when they go out to specific locations, specific countries, and they have those fighters participate because the homegrown crowd is going to be supportive of the homegrown athlete or performer. So that was awesome to see. The result, of course, Kabuki Warriors retained their tag team championships. I didn't expect anything of that match. It was what it was. And that was it. It was a clean finish. No surprises, no interference, nothing. And that's what I like about the Kabuki Warriors, by the way. Technically, you don't really have to, cheat your way to win. We're talking about proven champions in different parts and different organizations between Asuka and Kairi Sane. So I hope that they keep those belts for a while because they definitely are a proven tag team. And if you're going to have them, eventually, which will happen, lose the belts, make it against a team that's worthy of holding on to the belts for a while. Let's not keep switching those belts, because out of all the belts that are out there, the women's tag team belts are the ones that, to me, have been just exchanged left and right, here and there, not lasting a long time at all with any of the champions. So hopefully they give them a nice run when it comes to the Kabuki Warriors. That's it. My feedback on that. I'm going to move on to the next one. Main event was, I'm going to touch upon this already. Rhea Ripley against Nia Jax. And of course, you have to make it the main event. Rhea Ripley is the women's champion. Nia Jax presents a big problem for Rhea Ripley. They've been pushing this match for a while between the confrontations. And again, I'll say this. I liked how they didn't really attach Rhea Ripley to the Judgment Day all this time. She has to fight her own battles. She can't be there for, I'm going to keep on saying this because I love how R-Truth put it. She can't always be there for Tom and Nick Mysterio, for Priest, Finn Balor, JD McDonough. Let them be their own people and let her try to figure out her own issues because she has a lot now. She has a big target. It's finally, coming at her now with all these stacked women's division. And they put a lot of importance now onto the belts, both belts actually. But she's like the one that, she's a dominant champion. She's been the champion for nearly a year now. So the match was what it was. A lot of, you battle Nia Jax, no matter how big you are, you're going to have problems. And that was how the match went. There were those moments. It was like, wow, how is she going to pull it off? Because we knew she was going to pull it off. We already knew that. So there was no question. It was very predictable, this whole event. We kind of had an idea of who was in the making, who was not. Unfortunate, but it was basically really already, we kind of knew. All of us knew what was going to happen. Rhea Ripley won, retained the belt. Everybody goes home happy about it. You have to have the homegrown girl win. The dominant champion win, no matter how impossible it was that it seemed versus Nia Jax, but it was done. Again, she was the woman on the poster. The event was really revolving her and the athletes that are from there. Grayson Waller had his talk show. And Austin Theory was there too. And I'm laughing about it because Austin Theory made it fun, actually. There was nothing surprising that I heard on here that from Cody Rhodes and from Seth Rollins that I felt like I didn't hear before, except for, Cody's pissed off about the whole slap. Finally, he addresses it. Finally, he calls out The Rock. He could have done that, in my opinion, about a week ago, but whatever. You had to do it for an event that, of course, you want to draw in viewers, which is a good thing. So he addressed it. And he mentioned that he has time between now and WrestleMania, and he wants The Rock now. And then Seth Rollins says, I was waiting for something from Seth saying, no, wait a second. You want The Rock? No, you have your own thing. Let me take him on instead. I'll do it for you. And he announced that, by this Monday or this week, he's about to get cleared to perform again, which is a good thing. Now, the question is, though, one, I'm sure The Rock is going to accept. That's obvious. It's just more of a matter of when will he accept? Will he accept now? Or will he try to play Cody and said, you know what? You don't tell me when you want me to fight. I'll do it, but why don't we just do it after WrestleMania? Or, again, throwing scenarios here, just little opinions. Again, my opinion. You guys can always leave feedback, and whoever listens to the show, you can leave it on the YouTube channel, which is usually probably the best way, or you can go to my Twitter. YouTube is E-24G ! Or The Rock could say, you know what? Let's put it, I'm going to say it this way. I wish they had the ECW, like the R-rated language and just speak like grown men. But again, we have kids in the crowd, so we can't. You can tell them, hey, kids, earmuffs for the moment because The Rock's about to say something that's going to piss everybody off, but let me just do it. I'm not going to speak for, in that way, but The Rock could be like, you know what? You really want to, you have time, you said, right? All right, so let's do this because since you called your shot and you messed up this big event, why don't we put something on the line? Why don't we fight? You said you had before WrestleMania, right? Technically, there's 2 nights actually in WrestleMania, so I have 1 night free. I have the whole weekend free. You already picked the fight for Roman Reigns, right? You want to earn that now? You really want that shot at him? Well, you're going to have to come through me now. So night 1, if you want to really dethrone the head of the table, well, you have to dethrone 2 of them at this point. And if you choose, which I know you said you already called me out, so I don't think you're going to back out of this one now. If you choose to call me out, I win. I get the match with Roman, and we finally see who is the head of the table. If you win, then you get your match on the next night on Sunday. What do you say? Holy shit. Maybe. Would Cody do that then? We're talking about giving up your chance now to not have the match at WrestleMania. Hey, you really want him? You can have it any other time. We never said you couldn't do it. It was a matter of that we wanted. We get you won the Royal Rumble and so on and so forth. You picked it again. We had talked about it. We had agreed. You wouldn't have come out that night, introduced me to do a face-off with my cousin for you to backtrack. So now I'm going to throw you my terms now. That could throw a wrench into the whole plan. That can kind of get the things back to the way they were originally planned. Somewhere or the other down the line, they're probably going to have this match between The Rock and Roman Reigns. I always said it before. I'll say it again. This is the best chance that they can do this match. And if there's any place to do it, you do it at WrestleMania. You don't do it in SummerSlam. You don't do it at, what is it, Night of Champions or wherever it is in Saudi Arabia. Can't remember what the name, or Crown Jewel, whatever it is. You do it at your biggest event. We have 2 nights to pull this off. Will it be done? Who knows? We don't know. I'm just thinking of ideas that could really throw a wrench because he's calling this guy out now. It would have been great if The Rock and Roman were there, and I don't know. Would have been great. But again, though, you have to do the slow burn now. You know, you have to really, as he says, I'm playing the long game now. The Rock doesn't play the long game because he wants to see all those ratings. Again, don't forget, he's a board member now. So there's more involved now. So he's in a wait, for the right night to come out. Hey, The Rock's gonna do this. Maybe he shows up on Monday by surprise. And he addresses Cody. The Rock is not drafted to any specific brand. He can go wherever as he pleases. Even if it's to the dislike of the GMs or the Triple H or whatever. At the same time, please, if you're The Rock, address what Triple H said to you that time. What was it, 2 weeks ago at this point? Maybe a week and a half ago? Do that. Make sense of it because it's all great that the story's back online with Cody and Roman and Cody's going to finish the story and so on and so forth. And you've addressed what you had to say, which is funny as well. We want you to address what Triple H said too. Because now he's questioning. He basically said, hey, I don't care if you're a board member. I can do whatever I want. This is my show still. So address it. You're really above everybody? Then do that. I mean, show your power. Piss people off. If you really want to be the heel that you want to be, then shit, I would do things like that. I was like, you know what? Oh, and by the way, about calling shots, if Seth wants to get involved, he won't be able to get involved. Just make it mysterious, make it unpredictable. Like, shit, you know what? They really are, at a disadvantage. Or just don't say anything else. But I would make it like, to the point that gets very difficult. If Cody beats The Rock, hey, great. I mean, I don't give a shit. I just want it to be entertaining and unpredictable. That's all I want. Going back to this Elimination Chamber. It was a decent event. Like I said, very predictable. So I'm going to keep on going with it. So again, Rhea Ripley won. So then we'll move on to, and again, I'm sorry I'm going out of order. Judgment Day versus Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates. I like Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates. It's just unfortunate that we're still getting pushed with this Judgment Day tag team thing. And that's one of the reasons why I mentioned that it'd be nice if they had the Kabuki Warriors keep their belts. I swear the Judgment Day have had these belts for who knows how long. Even when they lost the belts, what was it, a week and a half that they got it back? So it just feels like it's been forever. And at the same time, if Damian Priest was not the Money in the Bank briefcase holder, then keep it on as long as you want. At some point, I want to see something with Damian Priest. As long as he has these belts, he's being held back. That's my problem with this Judgment Day. It's not I don't like him. I'm not that kind of fan as far as that. Am I a big fan of Finn Balor and Damian Priest? I like Damian Priest a lot, actually. He has earned it. He has been in some big matches, always comes through. That Bad Bunny match to me was up there. The crowd was super hot in Puerto Rico. Shout out to them because they love wrestling. And that was basically like, the coming out party for Bad Bunny. Well, obviously the party and the reaction of the entrances just alone made that match like so incredible. And for Damian Priest and Bad Bunny, who have worked together before, teaming up together, doing everything, he earned that. And that's what earned him, in my opinion, that briefcase. That performance on its own was what gave him that launch pad. He was able to launch himself and get to that level of talent now that he is, a major threat and a great performer. And that's why I have such an issue. And I'm hoping, oh goodness, if again, I'm not here to book things and I'm just giving my opinions based on that I've seen this for so long. Prediction says it's going to be The Miz and R-Truth. Please let it not be them. Please let it not be them. Make it a tag team that has been a team, like a real team. Dethrone these guys. I don't care who it is at this point. If it's the Creed brothers, if it's DIY, if it's, those are guys that have teamed up in NXT, have proven, and for the people who don't know, help them, realize who you have in your roster. You moved the Creed brothers for a reason, right? So let's make it something that will mean something when they dethrone the Judgment Day and whoever it is. I don't think the R-Truth Miz one is the answer. I just can't see them keeping the belts for long either. As entertaining and as much as I love R-Truth, it's almost like, with Damian, it's like, man, I've had enough of that. And I agree. I had enough of it. It was funny. It went. It's not the Sami Zayn version of it. It had its moments and still funny. I just don't see a reason to put the tag team belts on them if that is the way that they're going. And on top of that, didn't they just wrestle almost a little over a month ago and lost? Now, obviously, R-Truth's mind wasn't in the right place. He thought he was part of Judgment Day, right? I get it. Okay. let's just not do a rematch. Let's do something fresh. And if it's a rematch, make it a meaningful one. And if you can do some crazy match with about 100 teams involved and whoever wins, wins, let's not do that shit. Make it a meaningful team. Shit, I don't care. I mean, Braun Breaker is now in SmackDown as he debuted against Dante Chen and destroyed him. Again, Dante Chen is an NXT talent as well. As a singles competitor, and they mentioned he is a tag team champion with Baron Corbin NXT. If you want to bring the Wolf Dogs and challenge them, then do that. That will be great. That will be different. Now we have a tag team. Not only are they the most recently accomplished Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Tournament winners in the NXT, they're the tag team champions, and also already we all know who Braun Breaker is. Triple H has given him high accolades and say, I can't wait to see what you could do. I'm anxious to see what you could pull off. Baron Corbin's a proven guy, a big guy, not just some jobber like they were doing before probably the greatest run that he's had now in a while in NXT. That will be great. Bring them up. Do something different. I don't care. That's just my opinion. I'm just hoping because a lot of answers were questioned. Let me go back. Being a little dyslexic here. A lot of questions were answered and who was going to go after who most likely and what rivalries we're going to have and what matches we may have in WrestleMania with some of the things that happened tonight. The tag team championships are a question mark on both the ladies and the men's. It's just, I already have a feeling what the men's one is going to go and what direction they're going with. It's like week by week, it's something with R-Truth and the Judgment Day. And we still have Damian Priest sitting there pretty with the championship and still hasn't even thought about cashing even at any moment in time. You know, you could have had the Judgment Day attack Seth Rollins during this whole time when he comes up and does interviews. Attack Cody. Attack this guy. The Bloodline was getting involved at one point. Instead of costing Cody the match, yeah, that's all great and good and sending the message. But now that you have another guy who says, hey, I have your back, attack him. What's stopping Damian Priest from going out and just doing the cash in at that moment? You have a guy who really isn't cleared. Does that matter if you're going to cash it in? I don't know what the rules are, but you know. I'm just saying. I'm not saying I want Damian Priest as a champion, but soon it's going to be nothing. I even think Austin Theory even cashed it in at one point. I can't remember, but he had a hard time too. It's like the women's division just is an easy cash in. It's like the winners definitely, they're not going to wait. They're just going to do it. So that's my biggest gripe with Judgment Day. If you really want to set up a rivalry between R-Truth and these guys, why don't you just have R-Truth just take his briefcase, steal his contract, and make him think when it's time to cash it in that there's nothing in there. So even if he wins, he doesn't get it. And R-Truth can cash in with whatever belt, because don't forget, you can do whatever belt you want. Of course, it'd be kind of crazy to not go after the biggest one of them all, right? Goodness. Anyway, moving on. That's my gripe with the Judgment Day. What's next? There's not really much with this event. The men's match. Okay, I'll go into the men's match. We already kind of have an idea where some match is going here. Maybe they're going to have a rematch between Kevin Owens and Logan Paul. I don't know. Either way, the winner is Drew McIntyre, and that's it. There were some nice spots and so on and so forth, but one of the highlights was, in my opinion, was this guy. Goodness. AJ Styles popped out of nowhere, as they said, which, you know, well, one guy was eliminated, the doors open. At some point, you have to open the door so the guy can leave, right? Whoever gets pinned. AJ Styles comes in, interferes, messes things up for this guy, for LA Knight. LA Knight gets eliminated. And I guess we're kind of going to see a match between LA Knight and AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Unless something changes and there's a three-way for, who knows. but that looks like it's a match, which I kind of saw already. If you remember the events that happened a couple of weeks ago when AJ was trying to partake in the match and LA Knight poured that bottle of water. I like that he just remembered that he wasn't to be in some way. I thought he was going to interfere way before so that LA Knight doesn't get involved in this match where he has a chance to win, a chance to fight against Seth Rollins. Either way, job done. He cost in the match. So either way, whether he did it before or did it during the match, he did what he was supposed to do, which I like because that connects the story of what happened. It connects the events that led to this. And there's a reason why he did it. It just didn't happen just because he hates him. No, remember, he was outside the ring. LA Knight tipped over the bottle of water, fell on his face, and there we go. So I like that. Logan Paul used the brass knuckles on Randy Orton. Cost Randy Orton the match, and that's how Drew McIntyre basically won, which may lead to Randy Orton versus Logan Paul, which will be an amazing match, which will be really good, actually. All right, let's move on. I already mentioned the thing, briefly. I'll go back to that. Austin Theory was great because he was impersonating The Rock, saying finally Austin Theory's back. And Seth Rollins, I loved it. He was like, hey, no, let him go. He's good. He's actually really good. Look at this. I was like, keep on going. What do you got next? What you got? And then, of course, Seth Rollins did a couple of things to Austin Theory. And unfortunately for Austin Theory, he was getting it. And his boy, Grayson Waller, was going to help out. And then you see the look that Cody gave him and Seth gave him. And it's like, they're like, try it and see what happens. And Grayson had just sucked it up and just let the ass whooping happen in front of him. I won't be surprised if Austin Theory approaches Grayson Waller and says, hey, I thought you had my back as well. You just let them just do that to me. And then, Grace might say, well, there was two of them. What do you want me to do? I can't, I don't want it to ruin it. Who knows what he's going to say, but I do like Grayson Waller. I've always liked him from NXT. He needs a push. He's one of those guys. And again, I like that they had a show for him because he was another Australian performer from NXT that's brought up to the main roster. My opinion, still at this point, a little underused, but hey, I see something happening with him where he gets a push, whether it's a face or not. You don't have to make him a face or a heel. You could just make him like one of those anti-guys. Like he's like, just a guy that you like because he's just an asshole. In a good way, in a fun way, in a comedic way, And then I'm going to go and discuss the match of the night. We're talking about February it happened. This month. Last month in January, the Royal Rumble, they also stole the show. And they did it again. The women are doing amazing things, and I cannot say any less than that. The performers, all of them did their part. Except, and I mean this in a good way, when I say you separate yourself from the rest, and even the crowd is siding on you, and you're not, a hero or a face as we call it, and you're the heel, and the crowd embraces the heel, that says a lot. And I'm talking about Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton, for the longest time, had that factor. I remember seeing an interview with her, and she said she learns fast, and some might take it the wrong way. And she keeps on showing how she's getting better and better and better. You just don't throw her into the Elimination Chamber in about less than a month since you signed her. And she performs that way. She's going to be probably one of the best ones. I hope she gets a title soon. She will deserve it. She rubs people the wrong way with that, what time is it? And I'm sorry, it's catchy. It's Tiffy time. That gymnastic background she has pays off dividends for her. She's amazing. I have nothing else to say. That swanton bomb from the top, amazing. She's done it before. She did it to NXT in that last, I think it was Battleground, in that Iron Survivor match. Her timing when it comes to these acrobatic moves is perfect. And she uses that to her best ability that she can. And I love that. I wish she was like one of the last ones, but all right, it makes sense. Now, who will it be that she will battle out against? Based on, again, what happened and who pinned her and who eliminated her from it. I could see her having a program with Liv Morgan, and it will work. Liv Morgan is an excellent performer, and I have no issues with that. You can't have her, I wouldn't put her anywhere else. You're trying to push her, and she's likable already, and she puts good matches. None of the matches are bad. Little fine tuning here and there about placement of where the wrestlers are at, where you can put them at, as far as on Tiffany Stratton, so that when she hits the PME, which is the prettiest moonsault ever, land perfectly on it. Not the legs on the rib cage or whatever. And again, those are just little things, and just depending on the momentum and all the launch, so on and so forth. That's all just timing and placement. Aside from that, I don't see anything, bad with her. Sky's the limit. Sky is the limit with Tiffany. And there's nothing that I would say any less. It's that good. Predictable match either way. It would have been nice if it wasn't Becky Lynch winning, but it was kind of written already that she was going to win. If you know what I mean. I don't mean it like, it was just very predictable. That's the biggest money match you can come up with. Aside from Bianca Belair against Rhea, which would have been amazing as well. And I mentioned it before. You have a book coming out. You got to hype the book. You want to sell it. You want to get all these sales. You want to have this person main event. You have to. That's it. Even though Bianca has her TV show, with Montez, all great and good. It's easier to watch TV than to read a book. If you buy the physical book, and she'll be doing appearances all over the place, so she's going to be super busy at the same time, hyping up a match to be the main event. So she won by pinning the final person, whose luck has been just flawless recently, pinning Liv Morgan. Again, Liv Morgan finished short of getting that match that she wanted so bad with Rhea Ripley. Bianca Belair, don't know what's going to happen with her. Either way, she has a match. She's still undefeated in WrestleMania. The EST's still there. It's just unfortunate it's not going to be for a major title this year. Unless something crazy happens and she sneaked into a match. But aside from that, I don't know what the program will be. Will it be the dream match against Jade Cargill? I don't know. It'd be great, but I don't know. I wouldn't want to do that so quick. We need we need to, heat it up a little bit with them. Just not give it a month. That deserves more than a month. But at the same time, it's WrestleMania, so it's a dream match, right? Sort of. I'm trying to think, of anything else that happened during that match. I could say, okay, that match makes sense, whatever the case is. They all, all ladies performed well. That's all I got to say. They performed all well. Like I said, to me, Tiffany just sticked out a little bit more above all the other ones. It's just not her time yet. It's too soon. That's all. It's going to be interesting now what's going to happen with Gunther. I'm just mentioning all the ones that, they're just kind of like And again, now we're really on. Now you really need to get these matches on. And let's find out when they're going to happen, because that's going to really seal the deal of who's going to want to go to which night. And if you do the 2 nights, salute to you guys. If you could do only the 1 night, hey, either way. I've done 1 night before they became a 2-night event. Congrats and salute to everyone who does it, because you guys are super hardcore. I was hoping I can make it. I don't know. That's going to be like a super last minute impulse decision. I'm not sure. I will say the hotels are off the charts. I've seen them go for like 400 and up, maybe 5 a night. So for anybody who goes, good luck. And hopefully you guys have enough to enjoy, eventually. I'm trying to think of what else to say. The event was okay. It wasn't anything special. It was just basically putting the pieces together for what's coming up now in the next couple of weeks. And we filled in some slots. We have a possible match with AJ Styles and LA Knight. There's a possible match between Liv Morgan and Tiffany. As you can see, there's a beef between the two. Even though they're from different brands, they've kind of been hanging out here and there, crossing over and so on and so forth. And they should just do that. Who cares about the brands? If you want to show up to the show, show up to the show. We need to stop that whole draft thing. I think it's nonsense. Sure, they're exclusive to SmackDown and so on and so forth. But hey, you know what? You want to go? Hey, guy, he wants to wrestle this night. She wants to wrestle this night at Raw. She wants to approach him. She wants to challenge him. Okay, sure. Whatever. Well, again, Cody called out The Rock. When will that happen? I don't see it happening any other time before WrestleMania. So we already kind of have an idea what's going to go on with that. That's going to be most likely Saturday night. And will it be a tag team match? Nobody knows. We keep on hearing those scenarios. I don't know. It looks like to me that Cody may be pulling off double duty that weekend. Hey, you're the guy of the company. You want to be that guy? Let's go. Oh, you want this match so bad? You got it. But now, why don't we just change things a bit? You want to fight me now? You have time, right? I have time too. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to do this. So like I said before, The Rock can respond and maybe pull up his own version of how you want to challenge me and fight me and respond to what the slap that I gave you that time. And give your reasons too, Rock. Aside from everything else, the story, it made a lot of sense. I just think that you shouldn't, let the crowd know what really got to you. Even though you said it that night, what if The Rock says no? We ever even think of that? What if he says no? Does that mean there's a master plan between The Rock and Cody? It's like I said, there's a bunch of different scenarios we could all think about, Is this the ploy to make them think that, hey, and this was all planned the whole time, all along, and eventually sets up the match between The Rock and Roman? There's so many different ways they can go by. They could spin this so many different ways. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the Chamber. It was good. It just was too predictable, in my opinion. We already knew. We kind of had an idea Drew was going to win. We kind of knew that, which I would have thought would have been great if they had Randy win, because then he could be, in that upper class of performers who have won the belt. Who knows how many times. I could lose record. Yeah. So, I think that would have been good. But again, I get the Drew McIntyre thing, because that would be the second best option aside from CM Punk. It wouldn't make sense to have Randy Orton, who's another good guy there, just to, which would have been nice, but it was what it was. So Drew gets a shot. Maybe Drew stays champion. Maybe he wins. Maybe he doesn't. And eventually, whoever it is, maybe CM Punk can come back in time to hopefully dethrone those guys if he's healthy enough, which is going to take a while anyway. Yeah, that's it. There's not much more to go over. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll do some other podcasts too, not just wrestling. I'll do what I can and just give more opinions and talk about little things here and there. Maybe I'll do a baseball one, talk about the teams and, the teams that I'm focusing on more this year and who's the one I really want to follow aside from the Mets. But the Mets, I don't see them doing good anyway this year. So I'll probably talk about the Dodgers, so aside from that, yeah, I appreciate you guys listening. Listen to the other shows too. And I appreciate the support, appreciate the time. And I'll see you guys soon. This is, again, the Not So Creative Podcast, Z. And check it out on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Deezer. I like to say that for some reason. Deezer and some other platforms. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys soon.